Welcome back to my channel, and today we are gonna dive into the first real application, which is currency conversion app. So I thought this app would be a really easy start, and it would actually give you some practical experience regarding making apps, and you can actually upload this to the Play Store. So without further delay, let's get started. So if you remember, last time we left with activity main 1 and activity second. So in activity main, we added these buttons, right? So we are gonna look into a separate component today, which is spinner. So spinner is basically just a drop down, so we name that as spinner here. Let's have a quick look in that. So let's keep the text view, and yeah, keep the button as well, but let's start with the layout. So I'm gonna use like a vertical linear layout. So let's first type in the linear layout. So what linear layout basically does is it's going to align everything linearly. So first it's going to align the text view, then after that it's going to align the button. So it will all be done linearly. Okay, it is always in an order. Fine. Now let's also add the orientation. Oh. So we are going to align this as vertical, okay, so that it will be vertically aligned. Fine. So first it will be text view, then after that button. So we'll add in a few things here. So the first thing is we're going to add the element that we spoke earlier, which is spinner. Now we would always want it to like have a particular width because we don't want it to match the parent, or we don't want it to wrap the content. I don't want the spinner to change its size according to the content. So I just want a fixed size. So we are gonna maybe keep it to 150 dp. Okay, we'll have a look at it now. I think 40 dp will do. So let's have a look how that looks like. So I think I'll make this a little more longer. Yeah. So as you can see, so here's the drop down, here's the text that we added, and here's the button. We are gonna add one more spinner. So the first drop down is gonna be from currency, and the second drop down is gonna be to currency. Right? Okay. So once that is done, let's give it an ID so that we can refer it in the program. So we'll quickly give Android ID, and let's say convert from. And let this be convert, oh sorry, ID and convert to. So we have given the ID names. Now let's have a closer look with the alignments. As you can see, everything is haywire, so we need to put in enough padding and enough margin and align in a center wise so that it looks pretty. We don't want to make a converter like this. So let's have a look. So for text view, instead of hello world, we are going to write currency converter. Okay, so as you can see, the text has changed. Now we want the text to be a little bigger and to come towards the center. So let's add in a text size. Text size, and we are going to maybe make it around 18 dp. Let's have a look how that looks. So I think I'll require a little bigger one, maybe 36 dp. Okay, so as you can see, the currency converter needs to be at the center, and it needs extra padding and all because it's just attached at the corner of the app. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove the constraint layout. Okay, so it is back without any constraints in it, and we are going to add gravity to be center. I think layout gravity as well. Android layout gravity center. So we are gonna add layout gravity as center, so it comes to the center, and after that we're gonna add in some margins. So we need an overall margin because left and right will have a margin by default, so top and bottom. So I'll just declare at once as margin, and it's going to add in margin like all over. So let's put a margin of 20 dp, and so dp is just a unit. Okay, so here if you can have a look, they have added extra margin to it, so it looks a little better now. Now next, let's go to the spinners. Now for the spinners, we are going to also align them at the center. So just kind of copy this and paste it here and paste it here. So we are going to give them equal margin and equal and we are going to make them at the center. Now also I think I want my spinners to be a little longer because they look kind of small, so we will make them 250 and 250. So now they're fine, they look good. Now we need to enter a value, so we need to add in a field where the user can add in the value. So I usually just type in the text view, but I mean the edit text, but if you want to have a look at what elements are available, so you can have a look at all these. They are available here. Let's add it just below the currency converter. Okay, so edit text is there, as you can see, and we want the width to be, yeah, we'll just make it same as the previous one. Okay, and we will also make it a same height. So here is the edit text. Okay, now let's have a look at the padding and all. So we are just gonna copy this and add it here, so it becomes currency converter, this spinner button. Now let's remove the constraints on the button as well. Okay, these are from the constraints, so we don't require that. Next thing is so here on top it has added like 60 dp. We don't require 60 dp, we just maybe require 30 dp. Yeah, I think this looks fine for now. Okay, we will be adding like a text field again as a title for each of these. Okay, now the next thing that we have to do is we have to add in the title. So we'll just copy the text view because it's practically text view only. So we're going to copy this, but we're going to give it a different ID, or we don't even need an ID because I don't think we'll be referring the ID. All we need is, let's say we'll change the text. So above this edit text, this will be the title for edit text. So we need a text that will describe the edit text, or the text that you want the user to add in the edit text. So we'll just use like currency to be converted. You can add in anything, I'm just adding in whatever is coming to my mind right now. Currency to be converted. Fine. Now this is the title. Now we don't want the text to be like gigantic, so we'll just minimize it to 12 dp. 12, is it too small? Yep, it is small. Maybe 15. Okay, I think 15 is fine. Well, we'll go with 15. Now if you can see, this is getting center aligned, so we don't want that. We are going to add in so where was the text field? So here we are going to remove the gravity. Okay, so it's going to be this side. Now we need to bring it here, so I'll do one thing. I'll add these two inside a component, inside a linear layout, and just align it all together. So instead of doing just two, why not I just merge all these three and whatever the text field will be in it, and just align it all together so that it will be easier in that way. Okay, so for time being I'll just add in these titles. Wait, so copy this, add in title for spinner, add in title for the second spinner. This will be from currency. Okay, this will be the text view of the spinner and to currency. Fine, so they are all coming under each of them. So currency to be converted is this, from currency is this, to currency is this. Okay, I think we might need to remove the top margin because it's like way too much gap, so we have to do that setting, but let's wait. Let's go ahead with layout first. So we'll add in one more linear layout, and we are going to add in match, like wrap content. So wrap content is going to just wrap whatever is available here, the content, and it's going to show it as a component altogether. So it does not depend. So there are like two ways. One is wrap content and one is match parent. So match parent, if you have a look, so match parent, it's gonna be like whatever the parent's size is, it's going to take that size. But wrap content, whatever the content's size is, it's going to take that size. Okay, so we are going to take the content size because we want that to be in the focus right now. we'll take this. This is starting of the linear layout, and the end of the linear layout I wanted to end just before the button, so that this will be like one component, if you can see, and this will be a separate one, and this will be a separate one. Fine. Now let's have a look. We need to add in the orientation, so Android orientation. So orientation, as you may know by now, vertical or horizontal. If it's vertical, it will align all of them vertically, and horizontal, it will align all of them horizontally. So you can try it out and see that it will try to align all of them horizontally. Okay, so it won't fit there, so that's why it's not showing, but that's the concept. And now, as you can see, it is all aligned together. Okay, now that's aligned. Let's remove the edit text top margin, and let's add in the rest. So we are going to follow one thing so that the rest can be just copied pasted into. So we are going to add in layout margin bottom, which is 20 dp. Okay, and we are going to add in left right. So we want the left side to have like some space, we want the right side to have some space, and the top margin we want it to be a little less space, so that I'll know that this title is for this content. Okay, so yeah, 20 dp. I'm going to keep it same and just remove the top margin. Okay, and 20 dp. Fine. So this is looking a little readable compared to this. So we're gonna do the same thing for the rest. So let's go ahead with that. Let's copy that, and let's add in spinners, because we don't want the top space to be available. So we are going to just replace this, and add in that. So now, as you can see, the gap between these two is more, and the gap between these two is less. Fine, looks a little better, but we need to center align this whole thing. So what are we gonna do is go to the linear layout, and we're going to add in Android, and we're going to add in gravity. So center. Oh, sorry, not gravity, layout gravity, because we want the whole layout to have that gravity. Yeah, so this is how it's gonna look like. But as you can see, we don't have any borders or anything on this. So let's add in some borders. And if you're happy with this, like how this is looking, so I'm happy with how this is looking right now. But if you're not happy, and if you want to add in a border in here as well, you can go ahead and do that. But for now, I think only for spinner I would need a border, because I can't see the spinner borders. I would like to add the border to a layout rather than to the spinner, because if you add it on the spinner, the down arrow will go away, and I don't want that to happen. So we are going to add in layout. You can add in linear layout, relative layout, whatever layout you want. I'll go ahead with whatever layout is there. So we are going to wrap the content. So we'll do that. We are going to place it for each spinner. Okay. Now this is a relative layout, if you can see, and this is going to wrap the content. Now let's quickly create one shape for this. We'll have a look at how to manage that. So let's quickly go to drawable, and we will add in a new file. It's drawable resource file. We will add in a name as border for spinner. So I'm adding this as a name. So just try to add in a meaningful name so that you'll be able to refer to it, like what exactly this is supposed to mean. So I'm gonna add in shape directly. So shape is basically it is used to give some a custom design to your element. So here you can add in like corner radius, or you can add in a border, or you can add in a like a background color, or whatever you want you can add in there. So here what I need is stroke. So we are going to look into the stroke elements. So there's color, there's dash gap, there's dash width, there's width. So I'm going to keep everything simple and just go ahead with the color, and we are going to add in a black color. And also I want to make the width to be just 1 dp, just as a small element as possible, I mean smaller size as possible. And we are going to add it into this. So Android, we are going to use background because background is what is going to take in the border spinner here. So if you want to in future, if you want to change anything or customize any of the elements, then you need to add it in the background. Okay, now if I remove this, as you can see, the border is there and the down arrow is there, but the only problem is there's a little bit of gap here. So let me reduce that by adding a margin. So layout margin, I think I'll just copy this. Okay, I'll copy this, and I'll cut it off, because if I'm adding here, I don't need to add here. This element is inside the layout. So okay, so as you can see, it is looking much better now. We're gonna do the same thing to the other spinner. Let's go ahead and find that spinner. Here is one, and here is, okay, indentation. So indentation is just putting everything a little bit in order. Now as you can see here, also same problem, we are going to remove this because we don't need a double margin. This already has a margin. Okay, so now it's fine, right? So the UI looks much more cleaner, much more better. I still think the space here is a little too much, so let's have a look. We'll change it in future gradually, and we can also have a look at how to change the button color. So oh yeah, and let's give this a little bit of corner radius as well. So as you can see, corners, and there is an overall radius. I'm going to go for the overall radius and add in a size of 5 dp. So I always go to the second one. If you can see now, it's a little bit smoother and it looks a little bit like better. Now we will go directly to the button. So button also we are going to do the same thing. So let's create a new drawable file. Okay, and let's name this as button or custom button. Once that is done, again do the same thing, add shape. Okay, and after you add shape, we are going to add in the solid. So I am going to add in a different color. So let's add let's go and add it in the colors file, so that you guys will have an exposure with the values as well. So values is basically you are going to use the contents of this throughout the application. So if you have a look at the colors, there are some primary colors that you usually use in your application. So you can set all of them in here. Okay, so I'm gonna change this and add it into this color because I think this mild color looks quite good. So once that is done, we are going to choose that from there itself. So we are going to choose the color primary because that is what it was at that time, and we are going to close it. Also, if you have a look, this button, if you can see, um, it does not have any corner radius. Let's add in a corner radius. Okay, so corners, sorry, radius, and we are going to add in a 5 dp radius. I'm going to add in 5 dp radius. Fine, this is done. Next, okay, so we are I was planning to add in stroke, but let's see how this looks like. First is button, right? We are going to add in again in the background, as I mentioned before, whatever custom changes you want to add it in the background. So we are going to have a look at the drawable, and we're going to go to the custom button. So this is how the button is looking like right now. I think I better change the text color. So Android text color, and let's make it Android color is white. Yeah, so here it is, color white, and well, at least a little better than before. And you can always change the button color according to your choice. I just got this color, so I just slapped it in here, and that's it. So this is how the UI looks like. We are gonna add in all the functionalities in the next video, and hopefully you liked this video. If you have any doubts, any questions, you can always ask me in the comment section below, and thank you for watching. Stay tuned.